You're not burned out because you work too hard. You've been grinding for years, probably doing genuinely good work, and the number in your bank account still doesn't reflect it. That feeling isn't weakness, it's information. It's telling you the structure isn't designed to pay you what you're worth. Most millennial men are going to work for someone else for the next 30 years. Not because they have to, because nobody has showed them what the exit actually looks like. AI changed that, not in a vague, future-facing way. Right now, in 2026, there is a specific sequence of moves that lets a skilled man replace his employment income and then exceed it within 18 months. But before I walk through it, I need to correct something most people get completely wrong about what using AI actually means. Because if you misread this at the start, the whole thing falls apart. Let's get into it. What you think is happening. You think the opportunity is about AI tools. It isn't. Most men who try to use AI to make money spend their time on the surface layer. Which model is best? Which prompt works? Which automation saves the most hours? I spent longer than I'd like to admit doing exactly that before I understood what was actually happening underneath. The real opportunity isn't AI doing work faster. It's AI compressing the gap between what one person knows and what a business will pay for that knowledge. That gap used to take years to close. Now it takes months. And here's what makes this uncomfortable. The gap doesn't close by learning more. It closes by positioning what you already know differently. I'll show you exactly what that means. What's actually happening? In 2026, growing businesses have a specific problem. They need people who can think clearly, communicate well, and execute across a range of function. But they can't always afford a full team, and the right hire is hard to find. What they can do is pay well for someone who shows up as the direct answer to a specific problem. AI hasn't replaced that person. It's made that person significantly more capable. One man with real knowledge in his field, plus a working AI stack, can now produce what used to require 3 or 4 people. He serves more clients and charges for outcomes rather than hours. But here's what stops most men before they even start. They think they need to build something from scratch first. An audience, a product, a whole brand. They don't. The sequence starts somewhere most people wouldn't expect. The hidden dynamic. Here's what most people miss about employment. It's not really a skills arrangement, it's a distribution arrangement. Your employer pays you a salary, partly because you solved his problem. You made yourself findable, showed up to be managed, slotted into the structure. The skills were assumed. The distribution was what he was actually buying. What AI does is let you solve your own distribution problem without a team, without a big budget, without years of brand building. And when I say solve your own distribution problem, I don't mean go viral or build a following. I mean something much more targeted and much more achievable in 18 months. Here's what the mechanism actually looks like. A man who packages his existing skills as a defined service, uses AI to deliver at a level most competitors can't match, and points it at one specific type of client. That man isn't building a startup. He's running a one-person operation that produces 150K to 400K a year. Fewer clients, higher fees, no performance review. The reason most men don't reach that isn't lack of skill or lack of tools. It's a specific mistake made right at the beginning. one that quietly kills traction before it has a chance to build. The mistake most men make. I've watched this play out more times than I can count. A man decides to make the move. He's serious about it, sets up the tools, builds a rough offer, starts putting himself out there. Nothing happens in the first 30 days, so he pivots. New direction, new offer, new platform. 6 months later, he's tried 4 different angles. None of them have legs. And he concludes the market doesn't want what he has. The market wasn't the problem. He never gave one direction enough concentrated time for traction to develop. The pivot killed it every time, not the idea. The second mistake is quieter, and it's the one that trips up the men who actually do pick a direction and stay with it. They price like an employee. They take knowledge that a business would genuinely pay $5,000 or $10,000 to access as an outcome, and they charge $500 for it, because that's what feels proportionate when you're used to a monthly salary. They stay underpaid even when they're producing real value. Scattered direction kills traction. Employee pricing kills margin. The result of both is the same. The exit takes longer than it needs to. The 18-month sequence. Here's what 18 months looks like when it's working. Months 1-3, foundation. Audit your skills for market value, not how your employer grades them, but what a business would pay to access the outcome they produce. Pick one client type, one specific person with one specific problem. Build one offer around one result. Price it at what the outcome is worth, not what your time feels worth. Months 4-9 are where most people either break through or quietly go back to their desk. And the difference comes down to one thing that has nothing to do with AI at all. Months 4-9, distribution. Get the offer in front of people. You don't need an audience, you need conversations. Former colleagues, LinkedIn outreach, one piece of content a week that proves you understand a problem your client type is actively trying to solve. AI builds the content faster. You still have to show up, land 2 or 3 clients, deliver something they describe to someone else. Let the results do the positioning. Months 10-18 are where the employment question finally gets settled. And most men are surprised by how undramatic the moment actually is. Months 10-18, compounding. You have proof now, results you can point to, clients who refer. A reputation forming inside a specific market. Raise your fees. Tighten who you work with. Build a delivery system, AI-assisted, repeatable, that lets you serve more without scaling your hours. At month 18, you're not dramatically quitting your job. You're just not renewing a contract that stopped making sense a while ago. You came into this thinking AI was a tool for doing your job faster. It isn't. It's the infrastructure that makes a one-person business viable at a level that used to need a whole team behind it. The 18-month sequence isn't a shortcut. It's a completely different game. One where the rules don't require you to give someone else the best hours of your week indefinitely. You already have what it takes to play it. The question is whether you keep spending that on someone else's outcome.